I'm Ina, and I'm CEO of ZENNA Apps, media buying agency. Actually, we do promotion for mobile games and work only with mobile games. This is our niche and our main competence. So today we are going to talk about KPIs and actually how to define whether a game is going to be successful or not. Okay, let's start. So today's agenda is game launches. So we will do some quick review of game launches and what are they to be. So how to organize actually your soft launch. So it would be good for you. Where to buy quality traffic, trip notes, some regional specificities of different user acquisition campaigns, and actually how to measure your success. So what's KPI you need to choose to ensure that your soft launch was valuable for you personally. So, and some most recent case. Okay, let's go. So actually, as you know, there are a lot of game launches, a lot of different types of game launches. And the first type of launch that you need to do is tech launch. Actually, this launch is applied to by developers to define your precise audience. So it would be better and it's recommendable to do it in Taiwan, Thailand or Vietnam, maybe some low LTV countries where the CPI is so low that you can buy it like for 30 cents or maybe 10 cents. And to that, you need to do soft launch. And as you see on my slide, that you need, of course, like much more bigger amount of users just to define everything about your game. It's recommended to have like minimum 5,000 installs and maximum 50,000 installs. And if you want to launch firstly your game in US, it would be recommendable to do the soft launch in Canada, UK, or Australia. It could be New Zealand also. So Nordic is usually used to test your game for Western Europe, and Singapore is actually used to test your game in Asia. And of course, as you see, it must be a joke, so you can test your game in North Korea for South Korea, but I'm not sure that you would be successful at that, still. And after that, you see that you would be able, after soft launch, really good soft launch, you would be able to release your game. And personally, we recommend you some iterations of user acquisition campaigns. It should be really active for first 2-3 months, and after that, you could pause it and actually get your feedbacks on users, just support with little amounts. Not many budgets should be spent. And after that, after 1-3 pause campaigns, you need to get support in marketing. And here starts your ROI-based user acquisition solutions, when you do really good economy and try to buy the traffic. So it would be some average return on investments for you. Like it could be 20%, 25%, even 50% if you're so lucky to have it. And after that, you must do some updates, just because our users, they are used to expect from you some new things. They expect you to improve your game, etc. So even if you if you didn't do something special to your game, just say, okay, guys, we are going to make the update, and they will be more active. So they will be waiting for that, waiting that you will provide them some special. It was interesting. We were talking to NetEase company, and actually they provided some really interesting case. They have their MOBA, West Arena. Maybe somebody heard about that? No? Nobody played? Actually, West Arena is really great MOBA. It's number 8 among the most profitable games in China for the last 8 months. And after 8 months, they decided to do West Arena second, like West Arena 2. But actually, it was mostly the same game, so no changes at all. Still, due to that, the virality even from paid traffic was huge, just because people were considering that this is something new and they will like have some bonuses maybe, I don't know. But actually it was a really great success. So updates are really important. So what is the main goals and tasks of soft launch? Firstly, you need players' feedback. After that, you need market feedback. And of course, some iteration cycles. And all that stuff, all that data will help you to measure your scalability. So in terms how successful game would be, like its potential, because the success could be different, you know that. And talking about players' feedback, of course, you need to test your game to find out whether it's okay for your users, whether they like it, whether they play it in the way you need them to play it. Market feedback would help you to actually define your marketing budget for hard launch and actually any other iteration cycles of marketing. But actually all that feedbacks you need to measure by really precise KPIs, which means good actually point of mathematics. So what we are talking about when we mean KPIs? Firstly, you need to ensure that your average CPI would be lower than your lifetime value of user, so LTV. And to do that, you need 2 blocks of KPIs performance evaluation. Firstly, behavioral, and another one, financial. Talking about behavioral KPIs, which actually define your players' feedback. You need, of course, to follow retention day 1, day 7, percentage of tutorial completion, virality, lifetime, and of course, like sessions completed. It could be, if to be honest, the list could be really long. Still, like this is main KPIs, main post events, which you need to track. And your primary goal here is step-by-step traffic sources optimization. So you get the most relevant users. This is really crucial. Sometimes game developers, in terms to save their money, they do not buy really good traffic for soft launch. You need just to change your priority, and I'm sure that you need even more quality traffic for your soft launch comparing to your hard launch, just because it's like on hard launch you can use broad targeting and you need as many people as you could actually get. But for soft launch, you need really good feedback from them. So you need just relevant feedback. So the targeting should be really precisely. Don't save your money. You need just really good traffic resources. And of course, financial KPI, which will be used by you for measuring your budgets, actually, and of course, to find cost-effective sources in the midst of really non-motivated ones. And this is really difficult just because you know that there are a lot of traffic resources, but not all of them are really qualitative, and you need to test a lot actually to get your user with ARPDAU not less 3 cents. And first of all, you need to measure ARPU, percentage of paying user, your average CPI cost, and of course, due to that, you can measure your ROI. And before going to soft launch, you need to evaluate your budget and actually how much it would cost to do the soft launch for you. So there are some factors which influence that figure, and that is genre. You need to know that hardcore games, like the traffic for hardcore games, mid-core games, are more expensive than for casual games. Geographies, there are some difference between CPI costs within the geo. It could be for Western Europe, it's something in the middle. US and Asia is too expensive. and Russia and Southeast Asia is low, actually. Daily caps, total budget, freshness, oldness of the offer. This is not about actually the soft launch, but further, when you are going to hard launch your game, that means a lot. So the product itself, quality, gameplay, ASO, localization, monetization, all that stuff could help. We have the case with Gree, Philip, hi. Philip, he's not listening. So actually, when we soft launch the Verb Nations from Gree, the SO for Google Play was really good, and CR was really huge. So we've got a lot of downloads since the first day. But somehow iOS version, like the page of the app in App Store was not very good. The screenshots was not very good localized, and actually the description was too boring. You know, that's a lot of text, which is not actually readable. So what we did, we actually shortened the text to 3 sentences only, really like emotional. Hey guys, you need to play that. And actually we localized, what we did, we actually localized the screenshots, that's all. And the conversion was doubled. So it's really crucial, and you need to do that. So, and actually the wider the target audience is, for massive casual games, especially the lower CPIs. But the narrower the target audience is for mid-core and hardcore games, the higher CPI is. So this is the rules which you need to consider. So actually, you are going to soft launch your game, and of course, you need the traffic. If you're enough lucky to have another games which were games which were really successful, you can use your own traffic. And please accept our sincere congratulations, just because you have really cheap traffic source. You can do cross-promo. If you don't have extensive sources, you won't get a major campaign. Yeah, this is minus. So if you have some super virality, even when you start your soft launch, again, congratulations. You are really lucky, and your budget would be not so high. So if you have featuring and you know that, you can use it even before, just like for pre-registration campaigns, and our respect to you. So if you don't have any of the above-mentioned traffic resources, you need classical user acquisition approach, and here you go, guys. You need really good budget to do that. So still, there are a lot of major networks which you can use to do that by yourself, or with advertising agency, or with media buyers. It's up to you. So there are firstly search systems. It's AdWords, Bing, Yahoo, and depending on the area where you soft launch your game, you can use actually that or those. For example, for Korea, you would use like Naver or Daum search engine. For Japan, Yahoo is must be on your list, like on the first place. Social networks, Facebook, MyTarget, etc. For example, in Korea, of course, you can use Naver, or for example, in China, you can use QQ or Alibaba or something like that, like WeChat, Kakao in Korea. So display networks, redirects, pop-hunters, click-hunters, teasers, if you are not a really good guy, and you can use that. So, you know, LDOT traffic, you know. You can use it. Video, so torrents, YouTube, and other. Video is really great, especially in terms of soft launch, using it for your soft launches, because the CR is not very high, if to be honest. But still, the percentage of paying users from video advertising is much more higher if compared to other sources, like to other ad formats. So in terms to test your monetization, it would be better to use video formats, personally. And of course, you can use incentive just to push some way to the top. For example, in Korea, you need only 3,000 installs to get to the top of iPad rankings. And you can test like top rankings, and you can just at the same time have some soft launch basing on organic. So it's also your strategy, could be. So, and there are some like examples of ad networks like AirPush, which use adware, Google, which use context advertising in Mobi, Mobfox, Mojiva, etc. But I know that you know them already. So of course, like talking about logistics more, I want to prioritize and actually differentiate all those platforms. So there are mono-platforms and multi-platforms. And the main difference between them is that mono-platforms has much more high quality due to the perfect targeting and high level of competition could give you, of course, more expensive CPI. Still, they have internal limitations. Still, those platforms would be better for soft launch. And here, as example, Facebook is a mono platform. It's like one dashboard, you can use it. And variety of platforms, constant optimization, bots, which is not very good for soft launch. They are not very good actually even for hard launch, but still you will got them, definitely. And of course, there is really difficult traffic structure, mythical volume, that you can have when you work with some ad networks like, I don't know. It wouldn't be proper to me just to name them, but you can, of course, you can just think about them. So where are you going? If you want to go to US, you need to know that the LTV would be medium, key factor would be at medium level. It would be really high competition and constant optimization, so your media buyers should optimize your campaign each day, each hour. And high entry threshold, so your marketing budget, even for soft launch, would be like $15,000 or maybe $20,000. Like at minimum. Tracking, you need tracking, and Ushakova just has offers no matter you need it. Net 30, this is plus, like you can pay in like after 30 days. Social networks, it would be recommendable to use first of all, and you can use a lot of new technology solutions like retargeting, big data, new formats, PR, everything is with your tools. Like in Russia, it's like low LTV, low key factor, trash offers, low caps. 80% of it's my target, so you have mostly no resources like my target. My target could do everything with you, like at this time. So low entry threshold, so your budget would be not so high. No transparency, no regulation at this very moment. No tracking culture, etc. When you're working with a lot of like agencies, especially trends. What trends actually? Do you need traffic or not, guys? So it would be like a lot of adult traffic. So it's like, you know, like dating, torrent traffic, like incentive. You know, that I like this theme when you like you need to increase something. You know, that advertising. Hey guys, you could increase something, or it's like. Okay, so that misleads. This is not very good. So Asia, high LTV, even higher than in US. For example, for top grossing in Korea, for the top 5 games which are in grossing of Korea rankings, the RPD, that means average revenue per download, would be actually $25. So you should consider that. And if you go, you need to think about how much this CPI would cost for you. So extremely high competition and no transparency, no regulation at this very moment. And actually almost all the time you feel like a complete idiot, mostly. Just because Asians, they do not share any information with you, so you really feel like an idiot. Still, so here's your KPIs, and I think that this slide you need to take a photo. I can like this. Hey! And actually what you need to target minimum, you need ROI 7 days, 20%. That means that if you, for example, buy CPI for $1, you need your user to pay $1.20. So you have some like margin. So, or on iOS, it should be 25%, not less, or you wouldn't be successful. And after 48 hours of launch, you need to track those figures. So your game is really good if you have LT 20 days. Tutorial completion, like not less than 75%. In average, for example, for GRE, War of Nations, it was like 80%, 82%. 25% not less day one retention. Percentage of paying users 2.5. ARPDAU 3 cents. And ARPPU not less than $20. And ad revenue like 6 cents. So it's like those figures are at minimum rate to define that your game is really good. And what you need to do actually to improve your interaction with users in terms of game, maybe some monetization, but it's already okay. And you actually, this is good sign that you could launch your game. If not, actually you need to do something with that and even postpone your hard launch, just because you wouldn't be compatible with the games which are on the top right now. And this is like, it's sad, but this is true, and you need to take the reality. So if your game have like tutorial completion 65%, day one retention 20%, it's okay, but still this is a sign that you need to improve a lot in your game before going actually globally. And due to the KPIs, like due to the geographies, those figures are more about Russian market. But if you're going to US, you need to know that your KPIs at that very moment should be 30% plus to that figures that I showed you before on the slide. And in Asia, it would be like plus 25%, but only retention day one could be 50% plus. For example, for MOBA, card battlers, RPG, action RPG day one retention in China right now is not less than 60%. So it's like you need to consider that. So if you have lower numbers, you wouldn't be compatible to others, and this is crucial for you. So as I mentioned, GRE was the most recent case when we soft launched the game, and it was Russia. So we used two main resources, MyTarget and Google AdWords. And actually, a really important point, use as much creatives as you can. So we used mostly like 140 creatives. The number should be not lower than 70, if to be honest, to optimize your campaign, so you can get precise targeting. And result, it was like 82% of tutorial completion and 30% of retention day one. That means that the game works good and it would be profitable in terms of like in Russia actually, yeah. So you could proceed with hard launch, and basing on that you can define your marketing budget precisely. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So there are some tricks when we launch. Yeah, I'm sorry, just a few minutes. When we launch actually War of Nations, this is a graphic which shows when you need, like, it would be better to show your advertisements. You can use it. I would take a photo of that too, just because this is really important information. And actually, there are some examples of really good working creatives. So actually, what we did, our main conclusion, you need tanks. Even if your game for girls, you need tanks. Right now, you need tanks. So it was like, as much as possible, even more tanks that you could provide on the screen. And you see that CTR of that specific, actually creative CR, and actually the amount of downloads that we've got in 2 days for this actually specific creative. And here you go. The next slide, which was really like the second place, and you see that, hey, tanks. This is tanks. So actually, yeah, you need to use them. Even if you're just going to release March 3, use tanks. So actually, this is all for this at the moment. I would tell you a little bit about ZENNA, that we were founded in 2012, but I think that most of you guys know us. And we do performance-based user acquisition solutions. And right now we have more than 150 successful projects finished or delivered. This is our a lot of our clients, but not all. And my message to you: your games should not only be well done, but also well do. And this is actually your main goal.